the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com. Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's. It's Mark flying solo for a Monday morning as we kick off Manufacturers Week here on the Lunch Bunch. And coming up in just a bit, I'm going to play my interview with founder and CEO of Auburn Manufacturing, Kathie Leonard. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Monday, August 17th. Seniors Plus will hold the grand opening and ribbon cutting for its new Encompass Education and Nutrition Center on Friday from 10 a.m. to noon at 14 Mollison Way in Lewiston. The event is free and open to the public, and Seniors Plus is the designated area agency on aging serving Androscoggin, Oxford, and Franklin counties. The Lewiston City Council will hold a meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. at City Hall at 27 Pine Street. Residents are invited to attend in person or watch the live stream via the city's YouTube channel. The full agenda can be found at lewistonmaine.gov. Nominations are now open for the 2027 Maine Women's Hall of Fame. The hall honors women who have made or are making significant statewide contributions in fields like arts, education, public policy, science, and humanity. The nomination deadline is November 1st. And the Knights of Columbus are sponsoring an American Red Cross blood drive today from 1 to 6 p.m. at Holy Trinity Church on Frost Hill Ave in Lisbon Falls. For more information, visit redcrossblood.org. Now it's time for the weather. Morning rain followed by cloudy skies this afternoon. We'll have a high of 74 and a low of 64. Cloudy tomorrow with a high of 78 and a low of 65. And mostly cloudy on Wednesday with a chance of evening showers, high of 81 and a low of 63. In sports, the Red Sox lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates 8-3. The Sox have lost 7 of their last 9 games and will host the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at 7. Boston outfielder Roman Anthony is scheduled to make a rehab start with the Portland Sea Dogs tomorrow night. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for Famous People Birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for August the 17th, shall we?
Sure, Mark. Let's do it.
Okay, voice in my head. Donnie Wahlberg is 57 years old today, a former New Kid on the Block. Remember the NKOTB? Boy, there was some bad mamma jammas, weren't they? And Donnie was the baddest of them all. That's right, the baddest New Kid on the Block. That's like trying to figure out the spiciest Teletubby. Donnie now plays Detective Danny Regan on the Blue Bloods spinoff, Boston Blue. He also played Detective Eric Matthews in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Saw movies. And he also played the guy who killed Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. Sorry, spoiler alert. Actor Sean Penn is 66 years old today. He made his film debut in the drama Taps in 1981, which, if memory serves, also starred Tom Cruise. Sean also played Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. Then he went on to win 3 Academy Awards, one for Mystic River in 2003, Milk in 2008, and One Battle After Another in 2025. Belinda Carlisle is 68 years old today. She was the lead singer for the Go-Go's, but she had more success as a solo artist. The highest chart ranking the Go-Go's ever attained was number 2 for We Got the Beat, but Belinda hit number 1 with Heaven is a Place on Earth. And rounding out FPBs for August the 17th is legendary actor Robert De Niro, who is 83 years old today. What is your favorite De Niro movie? So many to choose from. The Godfather 2, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, The Deer Hunter, Goodfellas, Casino. The list goes on and on and on. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. 34 years ago on this day in 1992, Wayne Newton filed for bankruptcy, owing $20 million to about 200 creditors. He blamed the recession for his financial problems. Haven't we all at one point or another? 37 years ago in 1989, James Cameron married his third wife, Catherine Bigelow. Linda Hamilton, whom he directed in The Terminator, was his fourth wife, and now he's working on number 5. In 2010, Catherine did beat James for the Best Director Oscar, which she won for The Hurt Locker. James was up for Avatar. 40 years ago, on this day in 1986, Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen played his first UK concert with the band since losing his left arm in a car accident. Before the show, the band played a few low-key dates in Ireland. 49 years ago, on this day in 1977, after the death of Elvis Presley, FTD reported that in one day, the number of orders for flowers to be delivered to Graceland surpassed the number for any other event in the company's history. Long live the king. 57 years ago on this day in 1969, the third and final day of the original Woodstock kicked off with Joe Cocker. He played 11 songs and closed his set with a Little Help from My Friends, which went on to become the theme song to the Wonder Years. And finally, 69 years ago, on this day in 1957, baseball player Richie Ashburn of the Philadelphia Phillies hit a foul ball that went into the stands and broke the nose of one Alice Roth, who was there just trying to enjoy the game. As Alice was being taken out on a stretcher, Richie hit another foul ball that hit Alice again. Come on, Richie, that is cold. What did poor Alice ever do to you? Those are your FPBs and OTDs for August the 17th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the LA area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Looking for a vehicle, but don't love the car shopping experience? At K&R Auto Sales on Center Street in Auburn, Frankie Campbell is known as your friend in the car business. That means no pressure, honest conversations, and helping you find the right vehicle for your budget and your life. Stop by K&R Auto Sales today and see how easy buying a car can feel when you've got a friend on your side. As promised, I am joined in studio with the founder and CEO of Auburn Manufacturing, Kathie Leonard. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining me today. You have an amazing story. I did a little bit of research on you, and I was like, oh my God, we only have a half hour with this woman? Are you kidding me? But you founded Auburn Manufacturing when you were 27 years old?
Yes.
What was your background prior to?
Well, I'm one of those folks that came to Maine. Maine is my second home, but I've been here since 1974. And my first job was at a textile mill in Lewiston, right across the bridge from Auburn. And I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, as I was secretary to the president at the time, but they didn't have anybody in marketing either at that point. And I was asked to get into marketing to help them get a new product out to the world. And that product was made with new fibers. It was aramid fibers. That's Nomex and Kevlar. Most people know about Kevlar. They don't know much about Nomex. But they're high temperature resistant fibers. So it was an exciting time, and I got to introduce this product into industry. And at that time, it was right when asbestos got banned. Okay, and so across the country, OSHA had put the word out. It's going to, asbestos causes cancer. These aramid fibers don't. They didn't take as high a temperature as asbestos, but they were being used in a lot of the industries that had been using asbestos. So it was interesting to find those types of companies, and I was able to go to trade shows, show the product, get out there. And it's just a fabric, but it does amazing things. Yeah. And so I worked there for about 3 years and ended up leaving there because it was such a small part of their business. I went with another gentleman that worked there to start our own business, just focusing on that, just 2 people. We thought we could do it. We found a little place in Mechanic Falls. It was just $110 a month rent. And it was wicked fun, And again, I was so young, I had nothing to lose. I mean, I had a job, I liked what I did, but why not try this? And I'm going to make more money, doing this eventually. I thought I could. The only trouble was I didn't have any background with accounting or anything else to run a business. I kind of had to dive in. I took classes over at the University of Maine in the Auburn facility. They had a facility in Auburn back then. And so I got educated for a lot more of business at that point. And it was exciting times. We enjoyed it, and we moved. We had to move out of the little apartment thing, and we actually built a building in Mechanic Falls, which was a 10,000 square foot building. Now that building is now 50,000 square feet. So we kind of maxed out on our property there. And so eventually we opened another plant, built another plant here in Auburn. And that's so we still have 2 plants, one in Auburn, one in Mechanic Falls, and altogether they're 100,000 square feet.
Incredible.
And so, we now have just not 2 people, but 62 people. So we've grown immensely.
Yeah. Was this part of the vision when you started?
No, I had no vision. I just liked what I did, but I've always been interested in the big picture. Mm-hmm. When I found out what are the markets that use this, I mean, I was very interested in going to trade shows, going to visit customers, at that point we were working through distributors. So I was visiting distributors all over the country and learning about what they do, what kinds of products do they need. And we started with just that one product, which we didn't actually make all of it. We just finished it. But we then became, little by little, a real textile manufacturer. Yeah. And so I've never been the one that runs the looms or all the equipment we have, but I understand, why we do it and what we do. And I've always been able to get good people to come in and work with us who do know those things. Yeah. So that I can keep having fun on the outside.
And I want to make sure we don't gloss over this, Kathie. What is Auburn Manufacturing all about? What exactly is it that you do?
Well, we make high temperature resistant fabrics and textile products. Because they're not just wide fabrics, they're also tapes and ropes. We can also fabricate the products. We cut and sew them into things. Nothing big. We don't make apparel. And all of this stuff is just used as heat-resistant materials in whatever product, wherever it is. Sometimes it's an insulation where it goes on the outside of a pipe, for instance. All the petrochemical plants, refineries use our products over and over and over again. And that's the good part about this type of product is they're maintenance related. Right. So they don't just go in once and you have to find another customer. It's over and over and over again. So then we make fabrics from different fibers now, not just the aramid fibers that we started with, but we've blended our aramids with other materials like fiberglass. And that sounds like, fiberglass, like your attic. Well, it isn't the same as that fiberglass, but it does take a higher temperature than the aramid fibers. We blend them, or we just use fiberglass to make base fabrics. And the biggest thing we do now is that, and we've been doing this for a long time, but people didn't know, we can convert fiberglass to silica, pure silica, because silica is it's the biggest portion of fiberglass, but it also has other elements in it that when you take them out, the silica is the only thing left. It's pure, and it takes up to, it doesn't melt till after 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's only one other company in the country that does that. And so that's where we are right now. I'm sort of jumping into, this is the where we are. We still make all of these products. I mean, we have like over 700 customers around the world, and we sell to a lot of people, mostly industrial accounts. But now with the silica, we've found that it's in great demand by our defense systems because they use it as an ablative. It's a barrier for aerospace projects. So all of a sudden, I say all of a sudden, we've been at this for almost 4 years, but we started making it aerospace grade. We have to put it through another process that we had never done before. We now have the furnace that makes that happen, but we had to learn how to use that and make it part of our process flow. Very sophisticated, and our quality requirements are much higher than they ever were before. So it's a new age. Maybe I should stop there because I don't know if you have another question.
I'm just fascinated hearing this story and hearing what you do and knowing that your company is right in our backyard.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them too. We were just talking about that. There's a lot of companies here that do a lot of very interesting things that people just don't know.
Sure.
And manufacturing has got that reputation. In fact, I had to spell manufacturing a lot of times, because our name is auburnmfg.com, and then I have to tell them what the MFG stands for. That used to be normal, but nobody remembers that, so you have to say, that's Mary, Frank, George, or manufacturing, and they get it,
Yeah.
But manufacturing sort of became a bad word, like, oh, it's so boring, it's so dirty. And textiles isn't like that, for one thing. We're not a foundry. We're not doing really, really heavy duty. And not that that's wrong either. I mean, they've got manufacturing altogether has improved a lot over the years.
Sure.
The only thing that went wrong in this country is that we went offshore. We sent a lot of our manufacturing offshore, and there are people like us. I mean, I was almost a lone wolf. A lot of our competitors stopped making their products. They just went to China, had them made there, brought them back, and then sold them with their name on it. Mm-hmm. And no one knew. And no one, it was sort of a don't ask, don't tell. Nobody needs to know.
You've had some legal battles with China.
We did. And, luckily it wasn't face-to-face, but because we're a tiny little company. But I talked to several people because I just kept complaining about this, that China, they took, when it was all said and done and we did the math on it, we had lost 30% of our sales. And that was big. And I was like, well, what do you do? And there was no help because the American government just didn't care. You just couldn't get anybody to move. Finally, I found a lawyer in Washington, D.C. that happened to like small business people. And he's sort of like a big brother to me, and he really cared about helping us. And so I filed an anti-dumping case against China. I could do it as Auburn Manufacturing because there was only one other company, and they were in another market. So that you're allowed to do that. Otherwise, if you're a company that makes that there's a lot of you in the country, like 50 plants, you'd have to bring them or a portion of them in with you. This allowed us to do it as a company. So it was very, weird. No one, I don't know how many people ever did it by themselves, but it about killed us because a Washington lawyer isn't cheap. And so it did, we had a nice long payment plan, mm-hmm. and we got through it. We did it within 18 months, and by gosh, these guys, China, I mean, God bless them, they're just so brilliant and capable, and of course, we'd be a lot more brilliant and capable if our government gave us money to do everything too. And so we found out that they were subsidizing greatly, but more than we thought, and that their price was 300. Yeah, we got a 300% duty added to what was coming in from China because they were subsidizing so much of it. It was over 50% of our cost was subsidized by the Chinese government. So how could I ever compete? You just can't. You're dead. And people still liked us, and we had other niche markets, that we could stay in, but we would have been a much smaller company. Mm-hmm. But that was in 2016, and then we crawled back and got our business back. That really did help. It showed the world who we were, that we were an American manufacturer. It differentiated us, in the marketplace. You can't fake that, And then we kept doing what we did and still coming up with new products and so forth. And by 2020, we were really doing quite well. But then COVID hit. So we went down again, sort of sideways, I would say. It wasn't deathly, but it was pretty scary there. We didn't have any business for like 5 months because everybody just hunkered down,
Yeah, I remember that time quite well. Yeah.
And we were so scared that, how do you work remotely when you have to run machines? Exactly. You can't work remotely. Luckily, we were able to get some of that funding that came through SBA, to keep us going through about a 5-month lead time. And then all of a sudden, everything started coming back, and then we were back in business. But it took a while for this nation's markets to come back.
Sure.
Yeah. So here we are.
Yes.
Now we're here, and we're going into aerospace.
Amazing. And thank you for sharing that story about China as well. It's an incredible story. Tell me about the visit by President Biden in 2023.
Oh, gosh. Well, that was a complete surprise. I had never written to him or met him or, none of us. It just hit us by surprise. In fact, my husband and I were supposed to be going on a vacation up north in Maine, and I got a call from the Department of Economic Development, in the state of Maine, asking, what would you think if the president came to visit next week? And I said, president of what? I mean, honestly, I was like, surely she doesn't mean the president. And she said, no, I'm talking about the president of the United States. And I said, well, okay, I'm on vacation. I'm just starting vacation. I don't know. When is that? Well, they want to come in tomorrow with the Secret Service and check out your building, because we can't promise that you can do it if your building isn't right, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started, and we were ready by the next Friday. We gave up the vacation thing. I mean, how silly, for me to even consider staying on vacation. But we had already made the deposit. I just hated to do that. But yeah, it was exciting. I mean, terribly exciting. And I think the reason we were chosen was because we're right next to a really nice airport in the city of Auburn. We have a really good airport where jets can come in, and yet it's private, sort of not a lot of outside people using it. And so the helicopters showed up, and we're right almost across the street from that. Not that he would walk there, but they got him over to our building. But they turned us inside out. I mean, I'd never seen my building so clean and pretty, and it was awesome. And he was there for 90 minutes, and it was just an honor and fun. At the time, it was Bring Back American Manufacturing. I think it was the motto or the tagline, and we were an example of a company that had come back. So I was proud of that, and we very much appreciated getting that attention. To me, that was not about politics. It's just about, look, we're one of those companies, and there's a lot of us out there that need to be able to come back. So we appreciate it. We appreciate any of our legislators who talk about that, and respect it. And so we didn't control it. The government controlled it, who was coming and so forth. We didn't I did get to invite, we got some of our employees. We weren't allowed to have everybody because there wasn't enough room. But there were people from all sorts of, like BIW and so forth. There were a lot of people there. And it was just a fantastic time, sort of a just once in a lifetime
of course,
type thing.
President of what? I love it. Oh, maybe I'll cancel my plans for that one. Incredible.
I know. Well, that's what I'm known for, is I'm very honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly appreciate that. Kathie, you are not only just a fascinating individual to begin with, but when you became a business leader back in the late 70s, early 80s, it wasn't very common for a woman to be in that position. Is that significant to you?
Very. I didn't think about it that much. I was always sort of when I was a kid, I was a bit of a tomboy. We had mostly boys in my neighborhood, and I always played with the boys, and I got along great, So and I'm a good worker. I like to work, and I think is like guys do most of the time, I'm good at math and good at, so making a technical product was fun, and I find it interesting. I can't tell you how many people we've interviewed that think it's boring or too hard or whatever. It's funny because I think it's great. So I didn't really think about it until owning a company and noticing there were some, that there was mostly men at the top of any company. But in the state of Maine, I got to tell you, I don't think I wouldn't be as well known or accepted in other states as I am here. It was almost too much. In fact, I did have anxiety attacks about it because people, I was asked to be on a bank board for, not too long into this career, and I'm thinking, what? Why would they ask me that? And it was 27 men and me, okay, in a bank. And they were all so nice. And these were all the people that, back then there were a lot of manufacturers that were around that table. And every one of them was helpful and just they were all happy to have a woman on board. But then, outside of Maine, working with institutes and going to conferences and so forth, you could see that there's, in some parts of the country, it's a little harder than others to be accepted quickly. I worked through it, I finally got through it, and you win some, you lose some, and
Sure. Yeah.
And finally I just decided, this is okay, I am different, and I'm glad of it, and I'm glad I'm a woman. I like having a different outlook on certain things than the guys do, and I'm not afraid to ask stupid questions, which I do in most every meeting that I'm in.
Kathie, what are some of the qualities that you have that make you a good leader?
You'd have to ask my people if they think I'm a good leader. I'm a good teammate is what I am. And this is one thing I learned because I did read a lot of books about women in business because I did feel out of place a lot of times, and I wanted to just get my head around this. What's different? Why am I so, why do I feel a little different? Well, because women many times, we lead in a different way. We can lead instead of top down like a pyramid, okay, which is what most businesses do. Women like to lead from the middle out. Okay. So we're the center, not the top. That gives you the chance to have a lot of conversations with people and try to bring them together to find results. I'm not a dictator. I want it to be democratic. I want everybody to agree, sure. Which sometimes doesn't happen. And that's the part that I sometimes think, maybe maybe I ought to learn how to do top down a little better. You get things done faster.
Right.
Okay. But I like to have it done so that everybody likes each other and works together. And that's the way this company has grown, really. I mean, we have a lot of people who have been here one guy's almost 40 years. He's almost as long as I have been here. And you either like it or you don't. You can't force somebody to like a job. But yeah, that's the way I operate, and it's worked. But I also have good managers that manage in a different way, and I respect that too. Mm-hmm. I let them do what they need to do.
Do you consider yourself to be a role model for young women aspiring to be leaders?
Well, I don't know. Because I've been at it so long, I was on a panel not too long ago with women who are way younger than me who are running businesses here in this area, and they were amazing. And I thought, boy, they probably don't have any of that fear that we had, when I was younger. And so I think we've learned a lot. And the younger women are they're just much more confident. Yeah. And I like that. And so do they really need me? Probably not,
But they're confident because of people like you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's enough of us out there now that you
carve
can
that path.
Yeah. Exactly. I hope so. I tell them my story, and they listen. But I just wonder, they don't really need need to hear it too much. Make it shorter,
One more question for you, Kathie, before we move into our final segment. How would you assess the health of the manufacturing industry?
I think we're on a comeback. There's federal funding for manufacturers that are able to make products that the government needs, defense-related and so forth. And there's ways you can get there and come back stronger. And I think that's what a lot of companies are doing that are manufacturers. And then as long as America decides that they do think it's important that we make things in this country, they'll keep buying products from the U.S., Just nobody cared for the longest time. It's getting better already.
Is there anything else about Auburn Manufacturing that you would like our listeners to know?
Well, we're going to need more people because as we get into aerospace, because of that, the quality requirements and the processes that we need and the automation that we're going to be putting in, I think it's time for younger people to take a look at manufacturing again. If they're coming out of school, high school, if they're engineering people, if they're technical at all, I think they're going to like what they see when they come to a company like ours. And we didn't have the money to do that when the big guys did, But now you don't have to work at a Fortune 500 company to get that level of automation and so forth. And we're working our butts off to get that going. So we need people, and we need young people, as much as possible.
And if you'd like more information about Auburn Manufacturing, you can go online to auburnmfg.com.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
Kathie, as I warned you earlier, we do close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where I'll ask you questions that have nothing to do with your work.
Are you a shrink or something?
No, we're just trying to get to know you a little better. You're a pillar of our community.
Oh, geez.
We want to know more.
I wouldn't brag
Kathie
about
Leonard.
that.
All right, Kathie, putting your professional skills aside, what could you teach someone to do today with 100% certainty?
I can teach somebody to be nice to other people.
That is an incredible skill.
I smile a lot, and I do it, in grocery stores, wherever I am. I like waving at people when I'm driving, even if they're doing something stupid. Just sort of, okay, that was cute, and just be kind and happy if you can. Yeah. I think we all need that.
How do you practice that?
It's born with me. Yeah. I was smiling when I was a baby. My mother said that. You're the only baby smiling, and it's who I am, and I am a happy person. So I'm just glad to share it, and it's meaningful. I think a lot of people forget how to do that.
How would you describe your perfect vacation?
What vacation?
The one you imagine every now and again.
The one I almost had?
The one you almost had before that president guy showed up.
Oh, well, my husband and I had a boat for several years that we took, trips on, and that was lovely. And so if we ever get another boat, for sure, that I love being on the water and just enjoying the sunshine and the feel of the boat, the waves and all that. It's very, very relaxing. That would be great.
Final question for you. Mm-hmm. If you could attend any live performance or sporting event in history and have the best seats in the house, where are you going and why?
First thing that comes to my head would be Paul McCartney. I would love to see Paul McCartney just because I think he's adorable, and I've loved him ever since I was a kid, when they first came out, and he's still great, good musician and a good person. So,
like a solo performance? Do you want to see a Beatles show? What are we talking?
I want to see him. I don't care if it's he generally goes with other people. That'd be fine. Yeah.
All right. Great stuff.
That's it.
Thanks so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.